Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Map Awareness. Gangplank's back, and so are we. Today we're going to talk about CLG's new CEO, Riot's standpoint on Sandbox Mode, and then we have an interview with the pioneer himself, Travis. CLG has announced their new CEO by the name of Devin Malixia Nash. Malixia will be taking over Hotshot's current position while Hotshot is promoted to president. Malixia stated, "CLG has won my heart with its unique culture and its vision to help the people involved in esports to grow. My primary focus is always the personal development of other beings and organizations." With a quoted strong background in leadership, we can't wait to see what Malixia will bring to the table. Hopefully it's enough to keep the organization climbing. And as for Hotshot, don't worry. As president, he said he'll focus on the more personal aspects of CLG, so you're bound to see him soon. Sandbox Mode. So as we know, fans have been asking Rito for a Sandbox Mode since the beginning of all time. Well, Riot finally responded with quite a controversial statement. They stated, "We never want to see a day when a player wants to improve at League and their first obligation is to hop into a sandbox. We do want to support your ability to grow in mastery, and there may be other avenues to do so, but not this." Which basically translates to, oh, you want Sandbox? Nah. With the decline of Sandbox came angry posts from just about every corner of the esports universe. From professional players like Hai saying, "I do not like the Riot response to Sandbox Mode at all. Sounds like the biggest cop-out I've ever seen. Are you kidding?" To owners like Monte Cristo mockingly saying, "We can't have Sandbox Mode because people might practice too hard and get better than other people. Riot 2015. Even our camera guy is saying, okay. It appears nobody's happy. Will Rito take back the statement before fans riot? Or will they stand their ground in an attempt to keep the practice pure? Who knows, but I believe sandcastles can't hurt that much. Right? Now over to the pioneer of esports journalism and the man that puts the GOAT in goatee, it's Travis. Travis, people, second best interviewer.
That was terrible.
All right, hi Travis, welcome.
Hello.
Travis, people, Travis.
Thank you for the introduction.
Got you. What do you do for fun in your free time outside of esports?
Well, we sit down for an interview on an esports show, and the first thing you ask me is a non-esports related question.
I'm trying to get deep. I want to know the real Travis.
What do? I troll Twitter. No, I don't know. I actually play a variety of different games, not just League of Legends. Hearthstone I'm really into and that kind of thing, so I'm really into gaming. I like fantasy audiobooks. I'm pretty much the ultimate nerd, and I try to hide that, but it's not really something that I can hide.
Embrace it. That's cool.
Fantasy audiobooks. I love traveling, so like whenever there's a vacation or whatever, or a break between, like right after finals, I'll probably go on some trip like I did for the last couple of finals. So yeah, travel, fantasy books, video games, like the
awesome.
Standard things.
Yeah. Where's your favorite place you've traveled to?
Probably Korea. Outside of the US, I think Korea might be my favorite place. Like I love California, but Korea is just really neat. And I don't really know why, because I am a very like Western-minded person.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And it's certainly like a Western-style Asian country, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
but it's pretty cool. I just love Korea. Everybody there is really nice, and I love the city of Seoul, and it's just a fantastic country.
I don't know why, but I would have assumed Europe would be your thing. So that's
yeah, no, I like Europe a lot too. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. There's not really been a place where I've traveled to where I've been like, this sucks, other than Tallahassee.
What advice would you give someone coming into esports?
Coming into esports as what?
As a content producer.
Okay, as a content producer. The first thing I would say is that a lot of people tend to get hung up on like, what should I create? Or like, maybe I should find out what people want, or maybe I should reach out to other content producers or something like that. I always think that, and this was something that Day9 has said in the past about people that want to get into esports, is that they should just start doing something. So I think a lot of people get hung up on like, oh, how should I be a content producer? And it's like, well, start producing content. That's like literally the thing that you should be doing. So I think that's a really good idea. Beyond that, I think it's just really smart to try to identify something that you're really interested in. So maybe you're less interested in like the numbers and the abilities in the game, and you're more interested in the people. So producing content around that, or maybe you're more interested in the game, maybe you don't need to worry about like interviewing people or something along those lines. So I think it's just a good idea to identify what you like to do and also kind of try to figure out if there's some area where you feel the community is being underserved and go for that. And then also just don't expect it to be a career out the gate. Like a lot of people, I think it's just best to produce content out of passion and out of interest and not have any expectations about how many people will like your content or if you're going to get picked up by Daily Dot, The Score, GameSpot, whatever, and just like put stuff out there that you like producing and be happy about that.
So do it for the passion.
Yeah.
And love. Is that why you do it?
No, I do it for the sick esports money. But I don't do it for, I do it out of just my passion for the game, the industry, and the community. And so there's some pluses and minuses to that. If the community is being kind of negative, it'll be a little bit hard to inspire yourself to produce content sometimes. So whenever you're kind of driven off of your passion and your interests and support from fans in the community, it can be kind of costly if things are going bad. But I think ultimately that's just really what inspires me.
Do you think that you would follow esports if it went to like a different game? Are you completely stuck on League of Legends or?
No, I like other games. I think that I'm really embedded in the League scene, so it's hard for me to follow a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish that Hearthstone had taken off more. Like it seems like it's kind of plateaued. But I really like Hearthstone. I think Heroes is actually surprising. I had a lot of doubts about it, but as I have gone to events and that kind of thing, it seems pretty interesting. So yeah, there's a lot of other games that I think I could see myself covering if like Riot Games just disappeared into a black hole one day and League of Legends was gone.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah, maybe. You know, there's an ability in Dota 2 called Black Hole.
Dota's like, gonna eat League.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they'll counter. It'll just be, they'll show up.
The entire thing was a ruse just so Dota could be like, here, you love this, I'm gonna suck it back in.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
It's perfect. So when you're interviewing people and things get kind of awkward, how do you deal with that situation? And like, do you have any examples?
Yeah, I mean, I think just generally speaking, most of the time whenever I interview somebody and it's their first interview, which I'm very often people's first, but you know, whenever I interview like a pro player and they've just recently come into the scene or they've just started competing, they can be a little nervous and a little awkward on camera because they don't know, you know, they've never done something like that.
They're not media trained yet.
Yeah, and I think it's just, you have to kind of switch into, all right, I'm going to carry the interview. I'm going to try to like lighten the mood. I'm going to try to make them feel comfortable and sort of help them try to overcome that. And at the very least, try to make sure that the interview itself is pretty entertaining because you don't want to publish a like very boring interview. But I kind of view myself as somebody who's trying to also help the pro players level up their interviewee skills. Mm-hmm. And so I'll try to make sure that like even if it's not the best interview that, you know, like it's published and maybe they'll read the community feedback and people will be like, it's so weird that they did this twitchy thing. They'll feel self-conscious about the twitchy thing, but then they'll probably not do it next time.
Yeah.
So I think that's just sort of my strategy in those situations.
Well, that's kind and giving of you.
Yeah, that's again all for the esports dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That cash flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think the number one question that everyone really wants to know is, are you Gosu?
No, people can check out my personal YouTube channel, State of League. There's a video where I interview Doublelift and Gosu
I saw.
on there. So obviously I'm not Gosu because I was the one doing the interviewing there. But yeah,
that'd be ironic.
Yeah, she's a really great person.
Yeah, and a really great player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she just replace Peter?
Yeah. Doublelift.
Yeah, my bad.
Wow.
Right.
Get it together.
So recently you posted a video about your opinion on the Sandbox Mode. Can you give us a little bit of insight on that?
Yeah, my video was basically talking about how among the just incredible like community outrage of like that I felt like there should be just a clear conversation about basically what the statement that Riot put forth, which I think had a lot of flaws. And so I kind of went through and talked about the flaws that I felt like it had, mostly just being, they pretty much ignored like an entire section of the reason why people want Sandbox Mode, because they were saying like, oh, people just want Sandbox Mode to test out new content and also to like do stuff with abilities every now and then, practice Flash.
It's for fun.
Yeah, and I think that one of the biggest reasons people want it is because of the competitive aspect where teams can practice with this and get better and set up, you know, like I did an interview recently with Mark Zimmerman, who's the coach and analyst for Team Liquid, one of the coaches.
Hurrah.
And he was saying that he feels like it would be really useful to have a sandbox mode because then they could practice Baron fights specifically. Like, let's run those Baron fights over and over again.
Oh, that is really smart. So it's like drills. They could just make drills.
Yes, exactly. Well, this is how traditional sports works, right? Where people will practice hitting or batting or
over and over.
catching or any different, aspect of the game, but they'll sort of break it down into a component rather than everything. Whereas in League, you literally just have to scrim, and if you feel like you're bad at team fights, you have to just hope that you end up getting like good team fights or at least good practice doing the couple team fights you get rather than being able to scrim them. So.
Wow, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'm so convinced that we need sandbox mode.
Yeah.
For the pros.
That was easy. Just an easy way to convince you.
Because it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can imagine it being so difficult, all the hours that these pros are spending.
But Moon, what about the other side of things, that these pros and the teams are only a small aspect of the player base, and that Riot shouldn't devote so many engineering resources to leveling up just the situation for just the pros and the teams?
I think that the pros are one of the most important parts of League of Legends.
Well,
personally.
I mean, I think that statistically the majority of League players don't really care about esports.
There's millions.
So what would make them so important?
Then I think sandbox mode could be fun for them too, because then they can just like do silly things with their friends. You could just take it even less seriously than you already do. So if anything, it's only helping everybody.
Okay, fair enough.
How do you feel about the growth of esports as it is right now with everything that's coming? I mean, it's getting so much bigger, and now the events are being held in even nicer venues, and like Worlds was bigger this year than ever. And how do you feel about that? Are you happy?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be happy whenever the industry that you really grow or that you really care about is growing, and that it's sort of expanding, getting these new resources and better and cooler things. I think it's hard because the only trade-off is that there's a lot of really fun stuff that used to happen that can't really exist anymore among like the heightened levels of professionalism, and so that stuff will go. But I think everybody kind of knew that would happen. So I'm just interested to see where it goes in the next 5 or 10 years.
What do you think is the one thing that you miss the most from the old days?
Saints tier lists, I guess. Those are pretty valuable. Saint Vicious's tier lists.
I don't know what those are.
Don't worry about it. You don't need to know.
What?
Yeah, it's fine.
Man, I'm gonna ask him. He's not going to tell me, though.
He'll tell you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Why aren't you telling me?
It's St. Vicious's tier list. He should be the one to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Is it like champions?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Wait, I'm pretty sure I might know about this.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. And do you have any shout outs to sponsors or fans?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much to the community and everybody who supports me. My content, looks at it, upvotes it, likes it, whatever. All that stuff is really appreciated, and people that come up to me in person and say things are just really fantastic. And then I also want to say people can find my content, my interviews, and all that stuff at gamespot.com/LOL. And a special shout out to Razer, who recently hooked me up with a new Razer blade. That's a 14-inch, so it's a little smaller than what I was dealing with before, so it'll be good for when I'm traveling around Worlds and all that kind of stuff. So thanks to those guys.
Awesome. All right. Peace.